my girlfriend stopped sleeping with me. I think it's because of the election.
It's not because, like, you're missing a tooth?
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's just politics. It doesn't have to do with me.
You sure it's not because, like, she pays for every one of your meals when you go out?
I mean, no, she makes more money than me, so I think that's pretty fair.
My girlfriend won't sleep with me either. I think it's also because of the election.
Really, it started since Tuesday?
No, it's actually been like 3 years. I think it's Trump. It's not me.
No sex with men, no dating men, no getting married to men, and no having children. These are the things some women in the US are promising to do in response to Donald Trump winning the election. It's inspired by the 4B movement.
If y'all insist on making women second-class citizens, we don't have to give you our body.
4B was started by women in South Korea. It's a feminist idea guided by 4 Korean words beginning with B. Biyon means no heterosexual marriage, Bichulsan means no giving birth, Byonye means no dating, and Biseksur means no sex. The women in the movement say it's a way to fight against the patriarchy and misogyny, and that's why women in the US, who are worried about what could happen to abortion rights and reproductive freedoms under Trump's presidency, are signing up. They say it's a way to protest, keep themselves safe, and take back control over their bodies.
We have to take it back by limiting who we give our bodies to.
And with all this talk of reproductive rights, it's no coincidence The Handmaid's Tale has shot to the top of Amazon's best-selling books list since Trump's re-election. Trump said he won't make abortion illegal nationwide, but he has supported individual states bringing in their own bans. Do you think the 4B movement will take off?
How unfair, it's just our love. Found something real that's out of time.
Brainwashed, bitchy, bitter, and now bald? I think I finally understand the 4B movement.
Thank you for watching and supporting the Dating Apocalypse channel. Hit the subscribe and like buttons below. Also, please share the video and leave any comments and suggestions below. 4B or not 4B, that is the question. The 4B movement is another radical feminist movement by these modern women. The movement proposes that women should not, now or ever, get into any relationship with men, be it sexual, dating, marriage, or having children with men. Since the re-election of President Donald Trump, there has been an upsurge in women joining this ridiculous movement, claiming that the reason men voted for Trump is because men hate women and do not want equal rights for women. This notion by these women is so laughable. The reality is, these modern women are completely against traditional roles of marriage, motherhood, inherently sexually promiscuous, and any man that is against their movement is labeled as misogynistic. These modern women have completely lost their minds.
Stop shaving your head, seriously. For those of you ladies who are participating in the 4B movement, there are a lot of women out there who are either sick or they have a medical condition where they don't have hair. Are you implying that they're ugly and that's why you're shaving your head? I don't care who you voted for, but that is unacceptable. If you're really that upset, you can take meaningful action to ensure that you get the result that you want next time. But this is one of those silly things that a lot of women are participating in that won't make any meaningful changes long term. If wearing a blue bracelet makes you feel better about the situation, go ahead and do that. Just leave your hair alone. I'm absolutely heartbroken at all the videos I am seeing from women who don't have hair for no fault of their own, being accused of being involved in this movement that they wanted no part in. Before you take action like this, it's important to sit down and consider how your actions are affecting other people. And if you don't want to date men or participate in hookup culture because of this, just don't do it. It's literally that simple. And heck, you're making a lot of men happy because there's a lot of men out there who aren't for hookup culture anyway. They actually want committed, happy relationships.
Found out my husband is a Republican this term. Isn't that fucking nice? Well, guess what? He about to come home. It raining out. I locked him out. I packed my suitcase. I'm going to divorce his ass. I am done. I am done. It is now over. 4B Queens! Woohoo!
The 4B movement is making many modern women act irrational and stupid. It's unbelievable that this woman is ending her marriage just because her husband has a different political view from hers and voted for President Trump. Modern women have no sense of loyalty to the sanctity of marriage. Men should always take these women's matrimonial vows with a grain of salt. She probably wants the divorce done quickly because she is afraid that Trump is going to get rid of no-fault divorce that highly favored women like her at the expense of men. I assume she had always planned to divorce him, take her husband's assets that he has worked for all his life, probably get spousal support, and in the process leaving her husband financially ruined, if not more. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share buttons below. Leave any comments and suggestions below.
Not sure why no one understands how I feel. You guys know that my husband turned Republican this term. I don't know why. I threw his ass out of the house. And I have to do more. I don't want to shave my head because that's going to hurt him. I'm going to look ugly. So I'm not doing that. I think I'm going to sleep with his friends. I think that's the only way. I think sleeping with his friends will do. What do you guys think? His liberal friends, of course.
This woman's true colors are finally showing. She has no decency in her, and I would not be shocked if the betrayal to her husband has been an ongoing thing. Only difference now is that she is making her actions more malicious. Regardless of her resentment towards him for voting for Trump, that does not warrant or excuse her disgusting choice to sleep with his friends as a way of getting back at him for voting for Trump. So would it be acceptable if, say, Kamala had won, and the husband to use that as an excuse to sleep with the woman's friends as revenge? I doubt it. There would be a huge uproar and condemnation. So why should it be different for this woman? She has no sense of personal honor or integrity.
Does anyone else find it insane that the election is making people realize that they should not be hoes? Like, how did Trump getting elected make people realize, damn, you know what? Maybe I should stop slinging cooch out like this is a buffet at Cece's Pizza. Like, that's what made you realize that? What the fuck? Like, your 12th body in 3 months didn't do it for you, and people nicknaming you Slurp and Burp didn't do that shit either, but Orange Man getting elected as president does. How the fuck does that make any sense? And look, guys, I have no issues with hoes being hoes. If you want to be a hoe, by all means, be a hoe. Slang cooch, I don't give a shit. My problem is that I know for a fact that people are not going to be doing this 4B movement shit after like 3 months. Like, half of these people doing 4B all of a sudden 3 weeks ago were shaking ass on a prisoner at a Halloween costume party, and now all of a sudden they want to be fucking Susan B. Anthony. Like, alright, man. Like, I'm sorry, you're full of shit. Glorilla is still in your playlist. I know for a fucking fact. Like, I just know your ass is lying, man. Like, you're just following the trends at this point. Talking about some bullshit like you're gonna move to Canada. Bitch, you're staying here. Shut the fuck up. And look, guys, again, I have no issues with people doing 4B movement. I have an issue with people saying they're gonna do it, and then ultimately they're not gonna do shit. Like, they're literally just a bunch of fucking liars. They're just trying to trend hop and find an excuse to hate on somebody. Like, I've seen this song and dance before. A lot of you guys are not gonna be doing this.
Feminists will do anything for attention and clicks. Now, since Trump won, sex is now a tool for blackmail that they are throwing in men's faces. They are blaming so-called violent, misogynistic comments made by a few bloggers that obviously do not represent the views of the majority of men. One of the biggest mouthpieces telling women not to have sex anymore with men is none other than a former French porn star named Ovidi. You cannot make this shit up. Porn stars are now telling women not to have sex with men. Someone who probably has a body count in the thousands is now the beacon of hope to these liberal, modern, delusional women who hate that Trump was elected president again. I guess Trump winning was a good thing, since these women can indirectly return to a norm of decency by abstaining from being constantly run through by Chads and Tyrones. These women claim that women who get involved in heterosexual relationships prop up male supremacy as well as strengthening its foundation.
Like, I genuinely find it insane how the dating culture in today's society is so bad that people need to start a whole movement just to not have sex. Like, I don't know, guys, maybe I'm the crazy one, but not having sex with literally every single organism that comes into your line of sight sounds like something you should have been doing already in the first place. And I already know what a lot of you guys are gonna be saying. You're misogynistic and you hate women. No, I don't. Matter of fact, I actually full-heartedly support the 4B movement because in my opinion, that's like exactly what we need right now. Like, the 4B movement, if done correctly and people actually commit to it, could solve the Western society's issue with dating culture. Like, if more women committed to being celibate, it would cause men and women to stop slinging dick, puss, and STDs to each other like they're trading fucking Pokemon cards. And it would actually cause us to both become more high value and respected people. But again, you guys, let's be honest here. You guys are not doing that shit. Because with the way that the internet works, it's basically impossible for anyone to commit to any sort of movement. Basically impossible. After a couple months, maybe at max years, people will stop doing that shit. Like, in order for me to actually start believing that women will actually start doing this 4B movement bullshit, I'm gonna need to start seeing these motherfuckers fuck the bear. Like, if I start seeing that shit, then alright, people are doing the 4B movement. Until I see that, you guys are full of shit. So yeah, all in all, the 4B movement, I completely support, and I also think that a lot of men should support it, because something a lot of dudes have been complaining about is that women are out bats and hoes and sluts, yet when they all of a sudden start saying, you know what, I actually want to stop being one of those, they start fucking complaining, which honestly makes zero fucking sense. A lot of these dudes are hypocritical as fuck. You cannot ask women to not be hoes and then complain when they decide to not be hoes.
To the men of America, thank you so much, because you have now officially pushed any woman who was ever questioning herself away from you and into my arms. And I am now 100% gay. I wasn't sure before, but now I am positive. So if you're a man, don't look at me, don't touch me, don't speak to me, don't breathe near me, okay? Okay, I'm glad we got that sorted.
Yes, the 4B movement. It's not like I haven't been doing that for the past 20 years of my life. That being said, the 4B movement will never take off in America because women here center men way too much.
Abandon the 4B movement. I repeat, abandon the 4B movement. There have been a lot of videos going around about the 4B movement, and I decided to do a little bit of research. More specifically, I decided to look for Korean creators on here who are talking about the 4B movement. Don't do it. Abandon that shit. The 4B movement will not be conducive to what we have going on here in America. Abandon it. Let's just continue to decenter men. Let's use decentering men as our centralized idea. We don't need to call it anything, actually, except decentering men. The entire point of decentering men is removing men from positions of priority. You don't really need to call it anything except for what it is. Decentering men. Decentering men is also good for women who don't necessarily want to remove themselves from the dating pool. There are a lot of women who still want to date men, but they want to remove those men from the center of their priorities. And that's valid, sure. But also, no offense, but so many white women joining the 4B movement, it feels a little performative. Because we know how y'all do. We're in the position we are now because you guys will not keep up your end of the bargain. No offense to white women at all, but if so many of y'all are joining a movement, I ain't.
Modern women cannot be reasoned with. Now you see these women claiming that women center men too much. What the heck does it mean? They mean that a lot of women treat men like some sort of prize and are against women fussing over men. On the other hand, it's okay if men put women on a pedestal, fuss over them, spend their money on women while getting led on and treated like crap. And of course, they expect men to bend over backwards to these demanding and entitled women. Most of the women who share this sentiment are pretty much approaching the wall, jealous of the attention that men give to other women and not them. They are pretty much past their prime and come up with foolish statements, complaining that women are centering men. They desire to be the center of attraction, but men have no interest in toxic women like these. No one would notice or care if they joined the 4B movement. do not forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share buttons. Leave your comments too.
You're absolutely right, I am 4B. But what that means for you, you're not gonna like it. As a poster child for 4B, who am I? I am the everyday guy that was intelligent enough and ambitious enough to become wealthy by the age of 25. So at the age of 25, I'm pushing a convertible AMG Mercedes and have a high-rise apartment and I'm making millions of dollars per year, and women, you know what they did? They completely abandoned all of their boundaries and principles. And what this proved was hypergamy. For every 100 attractive women out there, there were one guy like me. And all 100 attractive women had gaslit themselves into thinking that they deserved a guy like me, but they secretly knew that they were competing against 99 other women. So what did these women do? They competed, they did more. They wore the shorter skirts, they put out on the first dates, they did all the preemptive texting when I wouldn't text them first. They would accept the bad things about me, including the fact that I was actively seeing 5 or 6 other women at the same time. And these women burned out. The reason why is even though these women were mostly amazing, a lot of great qualities, they just couldn't outcompete the fact that there were 6 or 7 other amazing women that were equal or better than them in some areas. They would have to be better than 8 women at the same time, and that's nearly impossible for an egotistical, selfish guy like me. So yes, me, the rich, egotistical, selfish guy, I burned through women in my 20s and early 30s. And it's guys like me that have caused the Western 4B movement. It's not the average everyday guy. It's not the nice guy that would buy you flowers and listen to your problems and hold down a steady job and just wants to get married and have kids. It's not the nerd that would love just a regular modest girlfriend who's not too flashy and they can spend time watching The Office together or whatever. It's not the country boy who's sad that he didn't find a high school sweetheart and get married early, so he's just ready to settle down with just any girl who's loyal enough. There are so many good average guys out there that you are condemning because you're blaming all men, when you really should just be blaming the top 0.5% of men. Blame the basketball players, blame the entrepreneurs, blame the musicians, blame the models. Blame every ego chad that has ever had enough power to get 20 women to compete against each other. But then blame the women for participating in that. See, 4B exists because you struck out. You wanted love. You wanted to get married. You wanted to find a good guy. But you wouldn't date the right ones. You wanted to date what you thought to be the best ones were. And you were competing for the best against the rest of the women out there. And you failed. You just failed. But you can't take accountability for that, can you? Women need to take accountability for the fact that they've got this mindset-oriented thing where they just believe that they're a 10 and they think that that's going to work, but that puts them in precarious situations where they're dating guys that don't value them because they're not valuable enough. And no, you're not just a princess for existing, so no, you're not valuable enough. Get that through your head. And dating a rich guy has consequences. They're usually too busy. They usually have unhealed trauma. There's a lot of problems there, but you keep trying to date these guys. Women like to date red flags. I don't know why. You can tell the world, why do you date red flags? But the fact that you hit 35 or 32 or 29 and realize that you're used up and too old to really be attractive anymore and you want to stop dating red flags now that your time's up, it's too late for you. You have to take accountability for that. Yes, I am the poster boy for the 4B. Thank you.
Leave your husband. Leave your husband. Go for a really long walk. Cry in nature.
Wow, I should shave my head for the 4B movement. Let's go! Really? All because Trump got elected. Now some of you ladies are shaving your head because you want to look unattractive. You don't want to get married, you don't want to date, you don't want to have intimacy. What's next? Inject it so you can have black fish lips. Stretching of the ear, growing a unibrow, really. Then you have your little fit, your little meltdowns. But yet the man is stopping wars. The man is anti-abortion. Didn't you hear what he said about the schools? In his rallies he says Jesus Christ is king. But yet you want to go and support someone that goes and says now that you're at the wrong rally when Jesus Christ was mentioned. But you want to come and shave off your head. And apparently he's got more male voters than females. Please. please. Listen, anything for attention. Grow up. Okay?